Season of the Wish is just a few days away and brings some interesting complications. Of course, the Ahamkara are involved, but some latest implementations to the game hint toward the possible involvement of Lord Shaxx. Shaxx has a gruesome but understanding relationship with the Wish Dragons during the Great Hunt and his relationship with Marasov and the Awoken. We'll also discuss the possible return of a legendary Awoken Tempest in the lore. It makes perfect sense for her to return this season. If she doesn't, I don't know what Bungie's thinking. Let's begin. Lord Shaxx has an interesting relationship with the Ahamkara, and he may return next season. The first hint we have comes from the Festival of the Lost. New dialogue was heard from Lord Shaxx himself. Now, it's not much, he didn't have too many lines for the event, but give this a listen.
If you appreciate violence in the field, Imaru, you should see the Crucible. It's a different world of combat in there.
Not sure if the stakes are all that thrilling.
If you don't want to spectate, you could always participate. Nothing would give me greater pleasure than to see the Guardian throw you like a grenade.
Keep laughing, and you'll lose that other horn.
Enjoying devouring those monsters, are we? I have to say, I am impressed.
You shouldn't be. If it weren't for me, your precious Guardian would be toast out here.
I was commending both of you. A job well done with these headless ones.
Save it. Unlike you, I don't need a medal just for standing around the tower. Or for handing out bounties.
Now, it would seem kind of odd just to bring back Lenny James for one Festival of the Lost voice line, right? In the last couple of seasons, characters have made multiple appearances. Season of the Deep heavily involved Sloane. They even had to record dialogue for this season. Not much, but they were thinking ahead.
Welcome back, Sloane.
It's good to be back. But from Asa's impressions, I guess this isn't a social call.
Same kind of thing with Festival of the Lost. You had Imaru playing a big role in Season of the Witch, and that continued right into Festival of the Lost just a few weeks after. So this is leading some to believe that maybe Shaxx has a big-time role next season, and they recorded some simple lines for Festival beforehand, and then he'll make his big debut in Wish. Speculation, of course, but it could be true. Why just have him record one new line? Lore-wise though, Shaxx fits with the Ahamkara, the Awoken history, and even Mara and Sjur Eido. Above Shaxx's head at the tower, if you didn't know, an Ahamkara skull can be found. Ahamkara, of course, play tricks even through their death. Their bones often cause this. A few seasons back, before Savathun became a Lightbearer, she would spy on Zavala and Shaxx through this exact Ahamkara skull. I am no follower of anything. I believe that technology is just an excuse for insomnia, and the Ahamkaras are for cheaters. During the Great Hunt, Shaxx sat with a dead Ahamkara after he had slain it, resting against its head and snout. Eris Morn approached and they're like, "Shaxx, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting there?" But he told them to be quiet. The creature's body then exploded and Shaxx sat there in the crater in silence. They listened to the whispers of the dead dragon. The Ahamkara twitched, its eyes rolled up into its head. The biochemical glow just beneath its skin grew harsh. Zavala and Eris raised their hands against the increasing glare. Then the corpse exploded. Dirt showered the Guardians like dusty rain on a clear day. Shaxx sat silently in the resulting crater, covered in a sheet of green fire. Zavala and Eris opened their mouths to speak, but Shaxx interrupted them. "Shh," he said, as the flame quietly roared. They could all hear a disembodied whisper, but they were used to that by now. So Shaxx hunted Ahamkara. Makes sense for him to assist in their return. He's got this trophy above his space in the tower. Now that's not all. On top of that, Shaxx has connections with Marasov and Sjur Eido, one of the most interesting and powerful Awoken characters and Mara's partner. Will she return alongside Shaxx in the next season? Sjur Eido became Morozov's closest companion and emissary. She was known for her legendary skill with a bow and was the only Awoken to survive an Aphelion attack. She played a crucial role in hunting down traitorous Ahamkara and warlocks. If you watched my latest video, we know when Ahamkara escaped the Dreaming City, threatening to reveal its location to the people of Earth and warlocks, so Sjur Eido had to go out, kill that Ahamkara, and also the warlocks who learned about the Dreaming City. Despite drifting apart from Morozov due to Mara's rising power, Sjur remained a loyal and fearless figure. She was eventually betrayed and assassinated during the Reef Wars by an unknown party, but her identity and character was anchored to a statue in Mara's throne world, suggesting a possibility for her to return in the future. Her voice lines even mention this.
My name is Sjur Eido. I was the first to stand beside Morozov. You will be the last. But only if you prove yourself worthy. Fear nothing. Bow to no one. I will find my way back. My oath still stands. I will rise again.
This character was known for her straightforwardness and aggressive approach to problems. She was fearless and had a towering stature. Her history with Mara goes way back into the Awoken distributary, but there are also too many amazing plot points and lore entries for her not to return. It'd be a shame if Bungie didn't bring her back lore-wise and even with a new quest or dungeon. In the Recluse lore tab, long ago, Shaxx visits the Reef and gets killed by Sjur Eido, but they form a bond and become friends. An arrow whined out of nowhere. It drove through his shoulder, penetrating his armor as though it were paper, not plasteel. No enemies on his tracker. So then, where? The second arrow hit harder than the first, straight through his other shoulder, skewering the joint. He twisted his head, saw the arrowhead protruding through his pauldron, chuckled humorously, looked through the trees. The asteroids of the Reef did not afford many hiding places, even those which had been terraformed to support plants and animals, so the shooter had to be. The third arrow penetrated his thigh. He laughed aloud. Transmat, his ghost suggested, a quiet voice in his mind. No, they started this. I'll finish it. Unable to lift any of his own weapons in defense, concerned that he might compromise his ghost if he made any attempt to heal himself with the light, Lord Shaxx began to limp toward the shooter's likeliest vantage. This was the work of a ballista, he supposed. Dark Age weaponry. Nothing else could hit so hard. As he tottered along, an Awoken woman in the near distance seemed to rise from the forest floor. She cast aside her camouflage and stood straight. He stopped to gawk. She was as tall as he was, if not taller. Her bow, just a bow, an ordinary bow, was certainly taller. You're trespassing on Awoken territory, Guardian, she called to him. Declare yourself. Who are you? He asked, astounded. I am the Queen's Wrath. Declare yourself. I will not ask again. She raised her bow, drawing it to its full capacity. He watched in amazement. It was just a bow, and she was just an ordinary Awoken woman, and yet, you are a Tempest, he replied humbly. In the next instant, she killed him. It was the start of a beautiful friendship. From the Witch Queen Collector's Edition lore, we see updates about how Lord Shaxx became friends with Mara and Sjur Eido.
Crimson Days. We use these holidays to honor friendship, camaraderie, love. For those of us lucky enough to find it.
We all have our fears and regrets, certainly. Have I ever told you about my night of passion with Queen Morozov? The passion we shared was pothos, the longing for freedom. This was before Oryx and before my own renewal. I longed for freedom from my duties. She longed for freedom from her doom. The Tempest is a play saturated with the yearning for freedom. It is also concerned with the relationship between master and servant, and when I had finished reciting it, Mara asked me to tell her stories of the once servant who she yearned to meet again as an equal. Sjur Eido, the woman I named Tempest. I told her stories of my friendship with Sjur Eido and her great bow. Mara told me of the lost distributary, and of Eido's quest to assassinate her in revenge for the Diasrim. I challenged the obvious lies in the story. The Sjur Eido I knew, Dragon Slayer whose arrows pierced illusion, would never have hesitated to kill, no matter how beautiful her target. And how could Sjur, who shrugged off talk of gods as nothing of her concern, have also been a fanatical servant of this Diasrim who cared only for lost divinity? Inconsistent and therefore a lie. Mara was delighted by my disbelief. She told me that she would tell me the truth about Sjur if I would only take off my helmet, so she could look into the eyes that had gazed so often on her beloved. Did you know that Pothos is another name for Asphodelia, the white flower of the Awoken, white flower of longing? Ikora, here's a question I long to have answered. Why did you leave the Crucible? Shaxx. So, Sjur has connections to Mara, the Dreaming City, Ahamkara, and Shaxx. She also has history with Mithrax. Mithrax was captured by Sjur Eido, I believe, when he was a vandal and brought to the Dreaming City. He was tied up and could not use any of his arms. As he walked, he felt the hatred toward himself and what he's done in the past, so he quickly made a break for the cliffs, attempting to jump off and end his own life. Sjur Eido caught him by the leg and pulled him back up, and soon they formed a bond. She taps 2 fingers against her cuirass. "Sjur," she says slowly, then she points to him. Honor-bound even as he simmers in scandal, he replies, "Mithrax, Valask, Sjurix." "Mithrax," she repeats, then grins. "Valask, Mithrax, and welcome. Let's have a look about, shall we?" Mithrax became friends with Sjur and the Awoken and even ran missions with them. His daughter, whom was found on a mission with Sjur Eido, is named after the same character.
Hello, my name is Eido. My father is Mithrax, Kell of our house. I took my name from his first Awoken friend, Sjur Eido.
So some very interesting connections. Personally, I can see a mission or a dungeon to bring back Sjur Eido from the Dreaming City and Mara's corrupted throne world for sure. It's been hinted at in the lore since Forsaken, and this seems like a perfect time to solve this mystery. As for Shaxx, he did get a new line for the latest event, so hopefully we see more of him as well. He's never had a major role really in a season or expansion release, just kind of sticks around the Crucible, but let's hope that changes next season. If you'd like to see some more Destiny, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.